Hi everyone, welcome back on to the Dogwoods Flower Farm. We are home from vacationing in Colorado. Boy, do I have a lot to show you. A lot of things changed in the summer heat while we were gone, and a lot of projects that need to happen. Today is our first cool day since probably about June. So this is a great day to start some projects and finish some projects. So let me turn you around and let's get started. We're going to start here in the front flower bed. As you can see, all of the trenches have been filled in up here. The new sprinkler system is up and running and working great. I will show you that because we don't use our front yard a whole lot, this front flower bed is really neglected. Just ignore the weeds, but sadly, we lost a tree. We planted 3 of these guys. This second one is not in great shape. The first one is doing better than the 3. I'm really hoping that these 2 survive. We'll see. Now that we're not running all of our water through our salt system, we have a water softener because the water here is so hard, and we were hand watering everything with that salt water. So I think we're gonna see a dramatic difference over the next couple of weeks with the plants that are still alive. We'll see quite a bit of difference. So let me start over here with this little border here. This is the flower garden in front of the chicken garden. Y'all saw me weed that a few weeks ago in the heat. And in fact, it's been so hot, the weeds really even haven't popped up. But I will show you, very excited to see that the Shasta daisies are coming along. These are wallflowers. I have wallflowers here and here, but the Shasta daisies are finally starting to pop up. Other than that, there's really just iris in here. I did plant 3 trees that I got from the Arbor Day Foundation, and they really are. They're just sticks, but it's fun to start them and try them. This one passed away. It's just a stick, and then this is the only one that's left. And this, I believe, is a redbud. Gosh, you can't even really see it, but it's still trucking along. So without getting any water, I'm actually pretty happy with it. So we're gonna scan over here. You can see there are still some trenches that are open. Chad is working very diligently to get this completed. That is our rooster, Ted Nugent, that is singing to us. And speaking of roosters, when we got back from Colorado, it had been just enough time for our set of baby chickens that they had grown enough that we discovered, we had 2 roosters. So sadly, we had to get rid of one. We decided to keep Ted Nugent. We've had him the longest, and so I just couldn't let him go. So you can kind of see him peeking through the gate. He's kind of standing right in the way where you can't see him. The chicken garden. Let's talk about this. So I do not have enough bricks to finish the pathway. I guess you could say I'm a few bricks shy of a pathway. But Chad came in and he took a pick and he got rid of all of the trumpet vine, or so he thought. You can see it's all started to pop back up again. But this is definitely a project that will happen. The weather's got to get a lot cooler for this to happen because we have to dig out this pathway. All of the trumpet vine have to be dug out again, and it has to be remapped, and none of the drip system has been added to the chicken garden. So this is going to be a really fun project, and I'm really looking forward to working on it. I'm trying to do a challenge where I put this whole garden together for less than $100. That'll be fun to see if I can do it. So let's come through the gate. Oh, Here's another change. So we had 2 roosters. We got rid of the rooster, one of the roosters, but we also got a new dog. Our Frances is getting older and she doesn't really like to play with Lou Ferrigno a whole lot, so we got Lou Ferrigno a toy. Her name is Phyllis, and I'm sure you will see her running around here eventually. But let's start in this garden. So remember when I said things are looking basically abandoned or homeless? I really wasn't kidding. We've got a lot of things that need to be trimmed back, a lot of things that just need to be pulled. I will show you. The dahlias just did not do well for me. I had some that were planted in the shade and I thought, well, maybe that was it. But even these that were planted in full sun, they just look horrible. So the only thing I can really attribute it to is the being watered with the salt water. Let me turn around and get out of here. You can see there's weeds. Our little rope fence that we were using to keep the dogs out of, it's all been tore down just because we've been working in here. Here's some yarrow that's doing really well. And I cut back all of the petunias pretty severely and they're coming back nicely. And the Crispidia, sadly, that's about all that's left with the Crispidia. I want to show you what has happened with almost every one of the mahogany splendor hibiscus. I think this is the only one that actually stayed upright. If you remember, I told you that I didn't really want just a bush. I don't want a bunch of things that snakes can hide under. So I was pulling the bottom leaves, but look what happened. Almost every one of my hibiscus have laid over. So next year, let me try and get out of the way here. So next year, see, I'm gonna stake them up so that they look more like a tree. I was a little disappointed that it did that because that right there is the look that I didn't really want. And this is Phyllis. Phyllis, can you say hi? Phyllis has one ear that stands and one that doesn't, and she is just a sweetheart. We believe she is Doberman Pinscher and maybe some Queensland healer, so we're really having to work with her to leave the chickens alone because she's trying to herd them. So the salvia's doing great. The stalk, y'all, the stalk is starting to come back. I was really surprised by that. So there's the stalk. And this is more of the, see how poorly the bottom leaves are on the, oh gosh, I just forgot the name of that. The celosia is ready to be cut back. And I can pull the little seeds from that. That'll be great. We'll be able to harvest some seeds from that. Dahlia, sorry, the dahlia. Boy, that just escaped my brain. And then the Gomphrena is doing pretty good. We've got some daylilies back here. I've not gotten one bloom from the daylily yet, but that's okay. And here, this might be a better view of the hibiscus. So you can see how it's starting to just lean. Next year, I'm definitely going to have to stake those and move them too. So some of the mistakes that I've made, you can see the celosia is really taken up the front of the flower bed, and that needs to be moved more towards the back. But we've got the roses are looking homeless. They're looking pretty sad. These are the cheap, I have this one, and then this one right here are the cheap roses. I don't recommend ever buying those cheap bare root roses. They just don't do well. You end up spending a ton of money on the chemicals, or organic chemicals, to try and get them back in shape. The clover's looking great. And we did have somebody that came and babysat the chickens, and she did, bless her heart, we had to ask her to hand water all of this. She did a great job. We came back and things were still alive. Some things just barely, but alive nonetheless. So here's more of the trench that is currently being filled in. You can see there's Chad still working on it. He's been working so hard. All right, let's come down here to the zinnias. Oh, these zinnias have, bless their hearts, they are in really bad shape. So you can see, I mean, they're just spent. I need to reseed. It's definitely, I probably should have reseeded probably about a week and a half ago. I don't think it's too late. I am going to go ahead and drop some seeds. I think it'll be fine. But I went through, deadheaded pulled a lot of this kind of stuff off. And then I'm just going to go through and, clean up these leaves. Just try and make them look a little bit better just for the remainder of the season. But boy, I just, running that water through the salt system, I think it just was so hard on them. And then we come to these guys. Oh boy, are they a mess. This is actually coming out today. This is one of those projects that it's cool enough. I feel like I can get out here and rip these out. They were a lot of fun, a little dramatic, a little more work than I had anticipated. Again, I think when you're dealing with the humidity, flowers are they're just gonna act different. So, when I get on the YouTube and I see these other channels that are, they can just grow things so magically, it's like, I wonder if they're in dry heat. So look at this guy. This one was so fun. It was our tallest one. We had such a blast watching these, but this has all got to come out. And then once, you can see this trench right here has not been filled in. This is the trench that is, now he does have the garden all hooked up, but this trench is going to lead out to, there will be a parterre garden here, and back here will be the greenhouse. So this is low on the priority list right now. We need to get the other things hooked up to the water. Not everything is hooked up to water, but most of it. And this has just been kind of last on the list. And then once we just talked about this yesterday, that this is going to be the next project after he gets all the water ran. We're going to mimic this side. There are 4 flower beds, and we're going to mimic it to this side. We've been really debating, a lot of the holdup has been the water, but then we've been debating on what we wanted to put down to keep all of this grass out. And we've decided to go with a DG, which is a decomposed granite. I believe you have to put AG down first, which is aggregate base, and then you do the DG. So this, we've really just kind of let this go because we knew it was a project that we would be working on. But here's another one of those fun little projects that's cool enough today that I can go ahead and pull the weed eater out and start knocking some of this down. I'm really creating a snake habitat here, which has been my whole goal, not to have things high and overgrown, is to not create a comfortable place for them to want to be. And a lot of it was, how it is when you're getting ready to go on vacation, you're all excited and you're in vacation mode, and then you're on vacation. And then when you get back from vacation, it takes you a little bit of time to get geared up to start projects again. That's kind of where we're at. That coupled with the heat, I just haven't wanted to get out here. So I'm going to take advantage of today and really get out here and get a lot of this stuff done. I'm going to go ahead and pull, I think you saw a video where I had added all of the vinca. I think what I'm gonna do is just pull all the vinca. I really like the way the columns look with just the lemongrass. And next year I'll add something that will kind of spill over it. So it'll just be the lemongrass and something spilling on it. So, you know, little projects like that. So excited to get all these trenches covered because it is a little bit to traverse up here. And then as we come up here, what's really great is he's added a lot of shutoff valves. So so I won't have to walk all the way up to the front of the side of the house to turn things on and off. He's got almost every flower bed has its own shutoff valve, which is going to be so helpful. And he added a little spigot here, right here where all of this stuff is, so that I can water the chickens and, you know, again, not having to walk all the way up to the house. Just any little thing that we can do to save steps is really great. So you can see we have a lot happening, a lot to finish, a lot to start. Oddly enough, the garden is actually looking pretty good. We're still getting fruit from it. We did have a lot of tomatoes that rotted on the vine while we were gone, which was a bummer, but we still have a lot of green ones that are working on ripening up. So surprisingly, the garden did pretty good being watered on saltwater. So you know, just stay with us. We have a lot of projects happening. Again, I think we'll start amping it up, doing those projects and getting projects finished once the weather starts to cool off. So that's about it for today. I hope y'all have a really happy Labor Day weekend. I hope y'all are getting to do something fun or doing what you want to do. Be sure and hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. And we'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.